Hi, my name is Riley Lyons, and this is my video presentation for using math with children's literature. And the book that I have incorporated into my lesson is called A Place for Zero. And it talks about place value and different jobs that the number zero has. So this is ways that I'm going to show of how I can utilize that with my students, with helping them learn all about the different jobs that the number zero has. This is the book that I'm using for my lesson, A Place for Zero, a math adventure by Angeline. Let's see if I can get it to zoom in. There it is, Angeline Sparagna LoPresti. All right. So this book shows like Zero having difficulty fitting in and finding his place, because when the other numbers play add 'em up, he can't play because he can't add any value in the game, because adding 0 to anything doesn't change the number. And it talks about different ways that each number has its place and where 0 came from, and then 0 seeking his place. So he goes to count infinity. And count infinity makes all kinds of incredible things. And so they talk about the different ways that count infinity uses numbers and makes new numbers and does all the things. And then count infinity asks 0 to help him, because he wants to make more number ones. Instead of just physically making a 1, he wants to use his thingamajig to make more ones. So he has 0 go in with a 1, and then out pops another 1, because 1 plus 0 makes 1. It goes on to 0 wanting to ask the king to multiply him and see where that takes him. So he gets put into the other machine with a 1 to see where that takes him. And out pops a baby 0, and now 0 is not the only 0 in the country, because now they have made a new 0 by adding 1, by multiplying 1 and 0. And then 0 says, well, maybe I have other ways of being used. How can I help place value when we're adding 10 ones? Because right now in our country we're only using digits of 0 through 9. Well, what happens beyond that? And the king initially just answered him with saying, well, more than 9 is simply many. And 0 says, well, maybe we need to figure out what many is. So let's figure this out. And then they name the new number 10. And then 0 wants to put himself side by side with other numbers to see what numbers can be made. And then all of the digits get involved with doing this. So now they're all making double-digit numbers. Until the baby 0 wants to get involved, and now they're making 3-digit numbers. A 1 and 2 zeros is 100, and then the 9 jumps in and makes 900, and they're making all kinds of 3-digit numbers as well. So in the end, 0 does play add 'em up with everyone, because now he has a place. One of the important things to state with the students to help them understand is that they already are aware of zeros. We've had zeros when we count with money. We've had zeros when we use the clock. Zeros here are a place value for that o'clock. We have 3 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 12 o'clock. That 0 is a placeholder here. Here it's using it with 2-digit numbers to represent 0 ones and 0 ones with 5 tens or 1 10. And so this would be a nice quick review to show students that there is a place value for 0 that they're already aware of in these ways. This is somehow that I would show students who need to touch things, that they can count the dots and make 10 of them by putting 1 in each spot around the center they could take them from the center and put them in each of the spots, and then see that that makes 10 altogether. These are the cards that I would utilize in the lesson in the manipulative section, where students could take two numbers, put them side by side, and realize, oh, a 5 next to a 9, there's 9 ones, there's 5 tens. This number is 59. And then take the next numbers and do the same thing. Oh, this is a 13. Or they could put them the other way and be like, oh, now it's a 31. And they could work in pairs doing this, where one student is handing the other student two numbers at a time, and then they're verifying each other. Oh, did I get the number right? This is another manipulative that I came up with to show students. There's 100 dots here, rows of 10. So it's it's an array of 10 by 10. So students can use this, and they could make marks on it, and they could count their base 10s with it, and then group together to use with the cards if they're having trouble counting to higher numbers. They can then add their 10s together to figure out their double-digit numbers. I then would have the students do an exit ticket, and this would be a worksheet. I have two different worksheets. The first one has 8 problems to it. It's pretty self-explanatory to the students. It says like 4 10s and 3 1s, and so then they have to put the 10s into the 10s column and the 1s into the 1s column and make their double-digit numbers. The second one is a little bit harder, and it's more geared towards gifted students, and it is allowing up to 3 digits in that one, and so therefore I can meet each student at their level, and I can modify the initial worksheet and only have students with disabilities do like 4 of those 8 questions, so that way I can meet each student at their level with that exit ticket, and then use that as a summative assessment at the end to confirm that students gained the knowledge they needed to from that lesson. While they're using the manipulatives, I could be doing formative assessments and having conversations with them and hearing from them directly how much of it they're understanding. And by observing them as I'm walking around the room in their pairs, so I can see how much they're working together and how much of it that they're understanding, where their vocabulary level is with each of the terms that they would need to use to understand and meet their learning target for this lesson.